Josh, you're not even getting in the pity one. Oh, the almond gave me one. Sorry.
After she gave you a definite one, she gave him a two.
Gosh, crack, buddy. I love it when I can
I hope
prove
you get hit
through
by a car.
scientific data.
What did you say, Josh? That's fucked up, dude.
We asked
I'm
Pat.
not going to get hit by a car. I do
I'd like
not stand in the road, Josh. I know better.
Brought another sect of Judaism. In other words, there were nobody denies there were other religions, but they were not Abrahamic religions. There was only one Abrahamic religion at the time, and it was Judaism. Next on the mic.
I don't know. I'm concerned when somebody gets overzealous about, religious artifacts and archaeology from 2,000 plus years ago. Sorry, just kind of makes me want to scratch my head. But the reason why I took the mic is because of what Spokojna was talking about. Vic was in here right before the debates, Vic Morrow, and he said that he's a stutterer as well, that he learned of different techniques. Yes, that he learned. Now, my husband's a stutterer, and I see him, you know, grapple with it. But he enlightened me on different techniques that people will use in order to be able to not stutter. That they will, kind of switch up the sentence, and that they will try to focus on something else. He said, you'll watch, you'll see him do it. And he was doing it. And Trump was doing everything in his power to trip him up. Yes, he was. I'm not surprised you recognized it. But, it's extremely depressing to me that we would have such a man, 207,000 deaths now, picking on people, using their disabilities to their advantage, when the fact is the disability is not a disadvantage, really. No, it just looks kind of funny. You follow me? It's not like he can't do things. It's just that they're going to use that in order to be able to draw out that, there's something wrong with him. That they will grasp anything that they can find in order to be able to, discredit. And this is a form of cheating that I saw as a child that just really makes me want to vomit. It really makes me want to vomit. And I thought that people grew out of that stuff. And I had another experience earlier in the week. I called up one of my old professors, and I spoke with him for a while. And his daughter was one of my bullies. And we just happened to be in his class together. And I saw that, in a way, he was bullied by her as well. I don't want to vomit. I really don't. But I tell you, it just doesn't make me feel good at all to see where we are, and that people will accept this, and people that think it's perfectly all right to throw Molotov cocktails because somebody comes at them with, with a torch. I don't want to see a race to the bottom. I don't want to continue to pick at little things. There are too many big things, way too many big things that we have to deal with currently to be focusing on being able to trip up somebody who stutters just because you want to win the game. It just makes me sick. It really makes me sick. Recently, I found something called hyperbole and a half. And it talks about being extremely depressed and being on your kitchen floor. Well, she was on her kitchen floor, and she's laying there, and she just happens to look underneath the refrigerator, and there's this piece of dried up, shriveled up corn with woolly boogers and fuzzies all over it. And she just, realized that the corn was all alone, and she started laughing hysterically. Well, guess what? I felt sorry for that little piece of corn. I didn't understand that it was supposed to be funny. But my empathy, I think, is just too much. I care about people and I worry about people, and I see that other people can do the same. And you know, I don't think Joe Biden is screwing us over and lying about that. I think he does have a large sense of compassion. Maybe it's not as large as some people's, but to see him have to endure what Trump attempted to put him through, and you know what? He came through it like a trooper. He really did. You know, he came out on top, in my opinion. And while most other people's opinion, I'm sorry, I've prattled enough. Bobby, your mic, sweetie.
I won't take long. I'll make it short. For you, dumb fuck. I always think that you're a dumb fuck. You're a human devolution because you've done nothing in your lifetime. And every time you come in contact with me, you try to prove me wrong, yet you are illiterate and you've never read a book. But I'll teach you something today. This is the Hammurabi. The 10 Commandments are a summary of these laws of Hammurabi, a Babylonian king that existed pre-Judaism. There you go. Alrighty? So now we know how the 10 Commandments came to be in the Jewish religion. It doesn't exist in the Samaritan religion. It exists only in the Jewish religion. The Samaritans being the followers of Moses as well. And only those followers of Moses that went to Babylon in exile came to learn the 10 Commandments. I wonder where, right? There you go. And you can read about the flood of Noah and all that from the Gilgamesh story, which again precedes the Bible. And I want to show you how from the Middle East also, back during the Crusades or the era of the Crusades, I want you to read this poem. How the people of the Middle East had an idea of what is morality is. The concept of one religion and one God became a political cause and necessary for the success and the fight of the crusade. Prior to that, there was none. Even the Muslims and the other, the Christians and the Jews, and they did not have that one religion concept. That was necessary for political purpose. It was a campaign, a war campaign. If you read, as a result of the Crusades, Moshe ben Maimon wrote the Talmud, and suddenly Judaism became fanatically only one God and one God only. And you could never believe any other thing. And that's the influence of Moshe ben Maimon, who reacting, he lived in Spain or Andalusia at the time, reacting to the European campaign of one God and one religion and one God. Okay, human, go learn something about history. And their concept of religion is not the same as your concept of religion. And you are fanatical Christian, even though you claim you're a, atheist. You have learned nothing. So you have not learned anything about Christianity, the history of Christianity and Christians, and you have learned nothing about atheism and minds. But it's all slogans for you. Go ahead, Prophet of Shadow.
Do you go to hell for lowering a hand up a prophet on Hell Talk? Go ahead, human.
Well, I guess Prophet of Monday, anyway. Bobby, I asked you a very
Fascinating.
simple question, and all you just said is, I don't understand, ancient Middle Eastern religions at the time, and that's true. I never claimed to be a biblical scholar, an expert, Middle Eastern history or anything like that. But I asked you a very simple question. You said that Jesus was not a Jew, at least as far as his religion. So I asked you, what religion is Jesus? That's all I asked you. And all you're coming back and saying is you don't understand ancient Middle Eastern religions, which I know that there are many paganistic religions who believe that multiple gods. That wasn't Jesus. Jesus believed in one God, which was certainly exclusive to the Jews. Jesus followed the prophets. Jesus quotes from the Torah constantly. He prays in the temple. So I ask you, if Jesus wasn't a Jew by religion, what religion is he? You claim to know, what religion was he? That's all I'm asking. Why can't you answer, Bobby? You know he wasn't a Jew, then what religion was he? Well, anyway.
Even to the day. Trinity about Last Supper was a yeah, I'll ask the same question. What religion was Christ? If he wasn't a Jew. Because he practiced tradition. He was a practicing Jew. Plain and simple.
Well, I wanted to address Philpux. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Philpux. There, in a sense, there was no Christianity when Jesus was alive. I mean, we sort of interchange terms. Sometimes I'll use the word Christian just so we're kind of on the same page. But the word Christian is more of a modern term, right? It just means a Christian is actually means somebody who follows the tenets of Jesus, right? The Gospels, his teachings, and believes like he was the coming Messiah, died on the cross, nada, right? Essentially followers of Jesus. But in a sense, Jesus himself, it wouldn't make sense that Jesus followed Christianity, right? I mean, that kind of, he's like, you could say he's the founder, but he followed a group religion. In other words, he preached from the Torah. He talked about the prophets, right? In the Bible it says, think not that I have come to abolish the laws of the prophets. I have come to fulfill them. Right? He talks about, numerous times he refers back to the Torah. Talks about Moses, talks about the prophets, talks about the laws, following the Jewish laws. Love thy mother as thyself. Following the commandments. Following the commandments were extremely important to Jesus. So I'm just asking, obviously Jesus was of the Abrahamic faith, so I'm just asking Bobby if it wasn't Jesus, what was it? And Bobby won't answer, because he knows. He just doesn't want to admit he was wrong. Now, secondly, concerning Hammurabi's Code, I'm perfectly aware of Hammurabi's Code in ancient Babylonia, and yes, many of the laws, especially the commandments, have roots and similarities to Hammurabi's Code. There are some of the stories in the Old Testament some of parallels some of the stories in ancient Mesopotamia. I'm not denying that the Jewish religion borrowed some of the myths or stories from ancient Mesopotamian society, from the Babylonians to the Sumerians, like the story of Moses being an orphan and floating in on a raft. That's similar to an ancient Sumerian story. The biblical flood is similar to the ancient Sumerian story of the epic of the Gilgamesh. But what does that have to do with Jesus? As far as what religion he was, Bobby. So again, can you answer the simple question, Bobby? What religion was Jesus? Can you answer that? Next slide.
People are trying to draw me into religion discussion, and I'm trying to keep it in the realm of politics and archaeology and history. Because you are entitled to believe what you want to believe, and I respect that right to believe. Human evolution, in your precise case, I really do respect your right to your evolutions, and you grant the evolution of grandchildren. I think that you're an intellectual, and I do respect the right to believe that. I do such,
Enchanting.
The fact is, what you call practices, one who subscribes to Jewish morality, not committed to the words of teachings of,
Wicked.
at least one who is subscribed to the Jewish morality. Those were universal. I gave them that something of the Code of Hammurabi, and you could look it up.
Big win.
Of Nisha and Shirosh. That's another old stone engraved from the time of King Amon. And these people are law-abiding.
Lovely.
Were not Jewish. They were abnormal.
Alluring.
Yet they had somewhat wrong. These are the concept of right and wrong. Right and wrong did not start with shadow. These were already in existence. You can look it up in the, what do you call it, the cult of Yahweh, which will have nothing to do with Israel. Of Yahweh, population that live in now desolate and unpopulated area east of Jordan, north of Saudi Arabia. There used to be a population center, but now because of drought, desertification, almost non-existent population. Just Bedouin tribes, part of the population. But in ancient times, there used to be a population that lived there, and they had all kinds of, what do you call it, thematic morality and
Charming.
so it's similar to the Jewish population of the land of Canaan. It's the same ideas were universal.
Spellbinding.
That's what I'm saying. So the concept that Jesus was Jewish, you can say that, from a religious
Magical.
from a historical point of view, there is nothing in Nazareth, not a single Jewish temple was found in that region because it was far away from Judea. The borders of Judea was Jerusalem. The borders of Samaria was just north of Jerusalem. And the borders of Samaria was south of Nazareth. And he was north of Samaria in Nazareth. So how could he practice Judaism if there was no temple? There was no Jewish temple or synagogue and found in Nazareth. Do you see what I'm saying? Broken? But did he have that morality, the same morality as the Jewish people? Sure, and so did the Samaritans. And so there's so many others that live in that region. Go ahead, please. I have you back. I will not lose any time.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. But I'm still going to respond to what you said. So basically, Bobby was saying is there are other cultures. So, for instance, stemming from Hammurabi's code, this is news to me, that basically, according to him, I guess there was another monotheistic religion that kind of sprang up similar time to ones who follow Yahweh and ancestral beliefs. I wanted to ask Bobby if these other religions followed the Torah too. Like, did they believe in the same prophets? Because, like I said, Jesus refers back to the Torah. He talks about Moses, he talks about Isaac, he talks about, the prophets of the Old Testament. I'm curious about these other religions that he claims were it's almost like he's sounding there were other Abrahamic religions other than Judaism. That's news to me. Has any of you guys ever heard of such a thing? There were other Abrahamic religions in the Middle East? I never heard of them. That follow the same prophets as Judaism? I never heard of it. That's news to me. And I guess my point is that I don't think Bobby made up what he said. He's lying. There probably were maybe some other religions that maybe had some similarities, but like whether they followed the Torah and followed the laws of the same there wasn't. So I mean, listen. Proof is in the pudding. Jesus was a Jew by lineage and pretty much established. That's not to say that Jesus didn't start as, he believed word for word exactly the way the Pharisees did, because he didn't, right? Jesus was a rebel in terms of Judaism, the idea that he slightly different beliefs, and that's why I say he kind of started his own cult or own sect of Judaism, which he did. And he believed he fulfilled the Jewish prophecy of the coming Messiah, right? Where the mainstream Jews have rejected it. Next on the mic.
So, you want to put in a room in a rally? Biden's trying to back out of these two debates.
cartoons used to do that. I've just been listening in the background, but listen, I had a good day at work. I'm just like, you ain't bringing me down with your boring discussions tonight, baby. Our kindergartners are starting on Monday. Just your kindergartners. They're starting on Monday. Yes.
The cartoons were funny. It wasn't until I discovered that grandparents make that same noise, and then parents later, that bothered me. The cartoons were cute with it. But I had to take a break for a little bit earlier too when I got into this. I've never watched Hemlock Grove. I started watching it, and the first season's a little slow, but I can say that they nailed my ideal of a vampire. They're the first ones that have really, like, you know, more or less nailed it without going completely over the top. Cool.
Well, I just want to say I apologize to the room for dominating the room with religion. Actually, even though I'm an atheist, for some reason I do love religious talk. I do like discussion. I guess that, you know, I kind of have a soft spot in my heart because I was raised Christian as a child. You know, even though I'm an atheist now, I was kind of brought up a Christian, so religious topics do actually interest me. You know, I studied the Bible and, you know, religion, not just Christianity, but just religion in general interests me because it's, you know, it's part of the human condition, right? I mean, religion's important to people, so it's, you know, it's an interesting topic, and it's certainly part of an intricate part of human history, right? I mean, if you look since the beginning of civilization or even before, religion is not far behind, right? Religion has been with humanity probably almost from the very beginning. So it's definitely an intricate part of the human condition. But yeah, I guess we can go back to political topics. Next slide.
Lion, what is it that you said about religion that you feel affected the room? That's what I'm interested in. I've only just... But I would be interested to find out what you've actually said, which you feel, I don't know, if it's offensive or something. Make some man.
Thank you, Doctor. Why is it today I always notice that my I'm not trying to play with your ass at all. 3 atheists in a row. But being an atheist is exactly why I'm engaging in that conversation. I try to avoid those conversations when I can. I'm just here to politics, drugs, and sex.
Yeah. Stand down, Doc. Stand down and stand by. He's just trying to stir up the room. That's all that Doc is trying to do. Dr. Danger Man. We got you, Lord. Stop it. Stop it. Let's read.
Okay, I have a good topic. I was reading an article yesterday concerning how disastrous the first debate went, that they're actually considering changing the debate format, trying to make it where it's set up. I don't know exactly what that entails, but they're trying to implement something that, you know, most leaders were the last time. Next slide.
They asked Rand Paul, who has said this before, what he would have suggested to the debate team. He said, trap doors. When somebody breaks the rules, just let them go down the trap door. Don't warn them.
job. That's as bad as when the House hearings started on the impeachment. I'm gonna watch it. But as soon as the Ukraine gets something started, he sends out a plea, knowing that it will get thrown into effect. That to me was tampering with witness, at the least. I was hoping the journalist from the Pentagon would just go in the White House and yank it. Now, he has committed egregious criminal offenses right in front of our house. It doesn't matter what's in front of mine. But it don't fucking matter. In front of the nation. He will try to cheat. He will try to suppress the vote. He will try to get those mail-in ballots. He will try to get a Supreme Court justice seated before the election, believing that Supreme Court justice will rule in his favor, keeping the White House, however he does to how many times has the opposite of what the appointed president wants that person to do? How many times? He will try to cheat. He will try to he really believes that he is on a holy mission. There it is.
I know people mentioned that, shutting off the mics during the debate, when the moderator says you got 2 minutes, they basically shut off the opposing person that's not speaking. Obviously, to us, that's the reasonable thing to do, right? That's the obvious thing to do, is to shut off the mic. But I will highly doubt if they ever do that, and I don't think they will. And the reason being is, you got to remember it's television, and it's about ratings. They don't want to lose potentially half the audience. You understand what I mean? Because I can envision where there's, when, they're talking and a person wants to interject and the mic's shut off, that people will change the channel. And essentially they'll lose a large portion of the viewers. That's why I don't think they're going to do it. I agree that a slugfest doesn't look very good either, when somebody like Trump talks over somebody, but at the same time I think that actually causes more ratings for certain people. In other words, I would think, I think more people would rather see a slugfest than a case where mics are shut off. I know that's sad, I wish it wasn't that way, but I think that's reality. I think for that reason they don't want to have viewership lost, that they're not going to go that direction. Try to figure something else out.
Yeah, can I be heard, please? Give me a one. Thank you. Yeah, just for, what human evolution was talking before, I apologize. Just to say, you don't really need to apologize. Well, not at all. The room is religion, politics, and science. It's not just politics and science. And, you're entitled to have different views, to, not feel intimidated. Bobby could disagree with you and think you're wrong, and you could disagree with him and think he's incorrect. That's the whole point of the room, is to to have discussions and sometimes debates, and to have different views. For nobody to feel intimidated, and people can always bring up new topics. Nobody is forcing people to stick to a topic. But you know, so no, you don't feel intimidated, and you're entitled to disagree, and the views are welcome to different views. You know, not everyone is interested in the other topic. People can bring up new topics anyway. Anyway. Well, you know what's interesting is when you see people have different views. It's interesting to observe how tolerant we are. Like, how much is it when we see someone with a different view? Do we like want to strangle them? You know, put cream pies in their face? And how much can we just say, oh, okay, I disagree with them. I think they're wrong. I might think I've got a better idea, or a better argument, or I'm a bit less biased than the other one, or you know, they seem a bit more biased than me. But doing it in a way where it doesn't become, you know, we just totally dislike the other person. Because we like that, we disagree on topics. We know what it's like when we're out in the real world, or out in the outside world, or if someone does us wrong. Like if someone does us wrong, or, you know, steals our car, or charges us unfairly for something, you know, how much hate would we have, or how much would we lose our peace? You know, let alone for a debate or a discussion. Anyway, next one.
You know, people have a right to believe as they want, but I would be lying if I said sometimes certain views. Yeah, I'll be honest. Sometimes I want to reach through my screen and strangle them. I'll be honest. Like people who say like vaccines are bad, or the Earth is flat. You know, that yeah, it's you know when views to me, like when people hold views that are like potentially dangerous. Like I said, like vaccines are bad, where that could, you know, cause a detriment to a population because their parents won't get their kids vaccinated, or you know, parents who teach their kids that the world is flat. You know, yeah, I mean, I think those views are not just stupid, but they're actually, that to me, that's like borderline child abuse. So yeah, I mean, I think some views should not be respected at all. Anyway, next to the
You know, everybody has a pet project. Michelle Obama's was that, and Malaria has one about bullying, didn't she? I wonder what she said. set a standard of everything that the president says is recorded and eventually public property. So I've seen that but he erased it. Whatever. Didn't Malaria have a bullying project sometime in the last 3 years? Huh? Well, he had a bullying project Tuesday night up the last factory.
I think the vaccine is good for the people, and to wonder why it only takes 6 months or more to have the vaccine. It is because we are now in a modern technology, unlike before that it takes 2 years, 3 years before they can make a vaccine itself. If you look back, at the time there were no modern equipments to test the vaccines that they are going to make. But today it is already more modernized, and even people can create a car in just a day. Meaning to say, you should not worry about the vaccine when it is just made for 6 months or 3 months or something like that. Because the technology now is far more better than before. So what worry about those people who doesn't want to take the vaccine, especially during these times wherein Trump is the president? Well, I know you will take the vaccine when Trump wins another 4 years term, because you cannot afford to die if you don't take the vaccine. Next on Mike.
You know, I don't want people come across or come across the idea that I'm defending Trump, because I'm not, but I'm just saying that, like, some people had stated that Trump is anti-vaccine. He's not. Trump's view was, I mean, he said he's not a doctor, and it's obvious, but his view was he thought that children got too many vaccine shots over a short period of time. That he thought, he bought into the science that the number of vaccines they got in a short period of time could trigger autism. You know, as you know, some people don't know what to talk about. Now, what Trump said was he thought they should be given those same vaccines, but span them over a longer period of time, spread them out over a longer period of time rather than in a short period of time. So, I mean, that's not being anti-vaccine, but, the reason why they give, vaccine shots over a short period of time is it saves cost, right? They don't have to keep setting up appointments for different vaccine shots, and it just causes more of a hassle. And some parents may not come back to get those other vaccine shots. That's another reason why they give most of the vaccine shots to children at one time, is if they span it over multiple appointments, many parents won't come back to get the other vaccine shots. That's why they don't do it the other way. So anyway, next to the mic.
Now paging Wild Rose. Wild Rose to the microphone, please.
Yeah, I was seeing, I thought Fun Bud had his hand up. I'm not sure. Did you have your hand up, Bud? You want to take the mic, or are you ghosting? Let me take my hand off the mic for a second and see if you want to take it.
Well, if you're talking about how these medicines are being rushed, you know what? Before, we don't have facilities. We don't have modern equipments to make it something like being uh, tested. You know, today you can even recognize this this germs or even these things that can be put in a test tube in just a second. In just a second, and you can even find results on some sickness in just a minute or two or just an hour. So meaning to say there's no such thing as you are talking about a rush procedure or process and the way how these vaccines are being used. The problem before, why you said that it took so many years before the vaccine can be invented, it is because we don't have facilities. We don't have modern equipment. And that's what we are today. We are in the modern times. We are not in the ancient times. We're in. It will take 10 years or 2 years for you to create a vaccine. So what are you talking about? That these doctors are killing you? What are they for? They're so modern. We are in a modern technology years. So what are you saying? You just put the germs in there, you just put the virus in there, and let's see what medicines can kill these germs. That's all they will do. And after that, if they will see that in the process in the laboratory, they will have something to test to the people if it is applicable or not. Next on Mike.
Hi, Danger Man. Hi, Danger Man. Hi. How are you? And you know what? You can't just stick some virus in a test tube with some germs and some other stuff to see if it's what's going to do, because they put some really nasty shit in vaccines, you know. And I, for one, am not going to sit there and go, oh, hey, you can go ahead and shoot me with something that you don't know what the hell it's going to do to me 5 years later. You know, I mean, if I got lucky, I'd grow a tit in the middle of my back, right? That could be like a plus for somebody, anyways. Not for myself, because I wouldn't be able to do anything with it. But you know, but there's no way, you know, especially the way that the whole world's been playing all this shit out. No, thank you. I'd rather take my chances with passing it by. My son got tested positive COVID a couple weeks ago, and he's asymptomatic and didn't have any kind of symptoms at all. But they put him in the COVID ward with other people that had symptoms, so I'm waiting to see if he got sick from that, you know. Hope not, but you know, this is a crazy ass world that we're living in. Okay. Hi, Danger Man. Oh, I said that already, huh? Yeah, he's doing all right. He's being a fucking punk right now. Oops. So, yeah, he's doing all right. He's being a punk.
Well, it will take days and months for the testing of the vaccine to more than creating the vaccine, which the effect of this will be studied, and it will take months to make these people know the effects that human beings and other.
Okay, wait your turn there. Sorry about that, Broken. Go ahead.
Thank you. You want us to trust a man who won't wear a mask, who downplays people wearing masks, who downplayed the coronavirus, and we have over 208,000 deaths. You want us to trust this man who fast tracks this, who wants it before an election? They're going to have the clinical trials results, I think, October 23rd. All right. This is the guy who stopped funding testing. This is the guy who wanted to open up schools. This is the guy who wanted the universities open. Soon after they opened, they closed. This is the same guy you want us to trust. After 208,000 deaths because of his negligence, you take that freaking vaccine. I won't take it until it's proven safe. Mike's free.
Let's.
Okay. Let me just that woman that was on the mic earlier, her concern of vaccines is just. Let me explain what's in vaccines. Okay, typically in most vaccines, let's say like the polio vaccine. What they put in vaccines like the polio vaccine, they'll either put a disabled form of the virus or its proteins that are contained of the virus. They don't put an active form. And the reason why they use a disabled form is they obtain essentially your immune system obtains those proteins as sort of like a response that as though it was an active intruder, and it remembers it. So then what it does is your T cells produce new white blood cells that produce the antibodies that are more able to react to when a active form of the virus comes into your body. Essentially, your immune system's triggered. Now, what they also add to like vaccines is often is concern is aluminum oxide and like aluminum salts that they often add. And the reason why they add those to like vaccines and they add small amounts is I'm not exactly sure why, but those also help trigger the immune system. Those essentially help activate the immune system to react, essentially your system to react to those, either the disabled form of the virus or the proteins that the virus contains. So, but like I said, it's tiny amounts. People don't realize, for instance, how much aluminum and iron and magnesium and all these metals and even plastic that go through your body every single day. Let me just give you guys an example. Just plastic. Every single month, the average person eats like a credit card. You consume about a credit card amount of plastic in your body every single month. Did you guys know that? You consume about a card, like a credit card, that amount of plastic in your body every single month. And when it comes to like aluminum and other metals, it's not far behind. Your body goes through all types of metals and stuff, and the same with children. And it doesn't show any side effects. And like I said, with these vaccines, with aluminum oxide or the aluminum salts, it's a very small amount that is put in your body. And like I said, it's not enough to trigger any type of autism or any adverse side effects. So that was like the anti-vaxxers conspiracy was the aluminum salts or the aluminum oxide that they said was like the killer or what causes autism and stuff like that, and it's proven that it doesn't, because like I said, it's such a tiny amount, it's not going to do anything. So So, but like I said, vaccines are safe, and it would be detrimental and dangerous. In fact, we've had a resurgence of a lot of diseases of tetanus and polio in this country. We're having resurgence of measles and tetanus, and because parents are not getting their kids vaccinated. They just like a year ago they were publishing articles that there's like a resurgence of a lot of these childhood diseases. Anyway, next to the mic.
Plastic going into our systems, maybe a future evolution of humanity will develop a plasticidotomy. We'll be born with a plastic window on our belly so we can see where we're going when we got our head up our ass. Really? You're going to trust the vaccine? All right. The trials due to start October 3rd. You think you'll have it by the election? Really? My daughter has 3 sons out in Indianapolis. I got 3 grandsons out there. Anywhere from 3 to 10. 3, 8, and 10. Right? And she says that the boys aren't getting the vaccine until it's been out for a full year. It may take a year to get it. And then another full year. And then she'll make that judgment on whether or not my grandsons get that damn vaccine. Now, it's got to be proven. And if you read some of the history of the 1918, it went on to 1920. Yeah. So, we're just starting the second wave of this. Joe Biden's taking on a hell of a fucking job, taking on the presidency now, with 10 million uninsured because of the layoffs on the virus, and the country almost in free fall from economic problems, in need of a minimum basic income for everybody. But that's going to be the trick. That's what we can use to finally end poverty in the country. A minimum basic income. So embracing the last 2 of FDR's for what? 4 freedoms. The last 2 are freedom from fear and freedom from want. Yeah. When we get rid of those 2, we'll be in a much better shape. And Trump is not the man to lead us there. Biden is. Puff, puff, pass, Mike free.
I think Eagle's got a dot on him. I don't know who put it on there, so I'm not taking it off. Sorry about that, dude. I don't know why you're dotted. Yeah, Starship, they're poo-poo band-aids. They've got so much poo-poo stuff out now. I don't know if you've paid attention in the stores to the amount of poo-poo stuff that's out. They got poop pillows and poop characters and all kinds of poop things, so we've started a fad, and it's on fire. Anyways.
I was up, I'm not sure if the list is right, but I was up in the North County today, and I see all these campaign signs. Dogs, DOGS 2020. I'm wondering, boy, there must be some poor politician with the name Dogs, And I got up to one that was close on the corner, and I had to stop. It says, Dogs 2020s because humans suck. They're all over North Towington. Mike's free.
Yeah, I don't know why I put my hand up. I don't have anything to say.
Eagle started ranting, raving yesterday, and Mr. Risk let him go on and on. Or was that somebody else today? Until he started talking about pedophilia, accused the Catholic Church. And you know how Andrew don't like people talking about pedophilia in the room? And that's when I think Torque dotted him. But I could be wrong. But I think that's why he got the dot. And it's up to you guys. Mike's free.
Whatever reason is good enough.
Sorry about that. Gang, correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't live in the United States, do you? You're not a member of the United States. You're not like an American, are you? In any way, shape, or form? I think you are in a different country, right? You're in a different country altogether. So your opinion of what Trump should be doesn't really matter. And it's not going to matter as far as the country goes. So, just so you know. And Eagle, please don't start with the scrolling, text, whatever. Anyways, just chill out. And anyways, yeah. No, you don't need to spam the room, okay? You don't need to spam the room. I don't think that that's necessary. And you can be chillier than an iceberg. That's right. That's right. And gang, I think that you should be personally responsible for making Trump's carrot juice on a daily basis so he can turn into the orange monster that he is. I think that would be appropriate. You feeding him orange carrot juice. Orange carrot juice. There you go. I'm off the mic.
Eagle every day does this. He goes out of his way to get everyone's aggravated and the admins pushed to the end of their patience. Then he get red dotted. And he raises his hand to test and pressure the admins to undot him. It doesn't end, it's every day, it's a daily thing. That's why he earned my contempt and I call him an asshole. Go next. And Eagle, lower your hand unless you're undotted. You know that always end up with you being bounced. Your mic next.
Okay, thank you for whoever removed the dot. Much appreciated. I do not rave like some people. I do post scientific information. I also post updates from the CDC as well as Wildfire California. Some people might disagree with what I post. If you do, take it up with the CDC or Wildfire Services. If any of you want to have a discussion with me on what I post, please feel free to do so. Dotting people for providing scientific evidence and facts is counterproductive. Over.
Well, I've been trying to give a COVID-19 joke every day, so here's my COVID-19 joke of the day. Why did the chicken cross the road? Because the chicken behind him didn't have a mask. You're next, Wild.
That was really bad. Just so you know, that was a time joke, and I don't have time to laugh right now. I just don't. anyways, I'm going to go back to this political thing, since you guys like to talk politics in here so much. It's a big dog and pony show. Both sides are the same side, just turned inside out, and pointed at each other so that there's division. We're going to point you at this one, and we're going to point you at this one, and then we're going to create some more division so that we can fall apart from the inside. So, yeah, Barry, there may be a matter of semantics here and there, but at the end of the day, they're both pushing their finger at the opposite side and saying, it's you that's doing this, it's you that's doing this. So, yeah, they're the same. And it's a dog and pony show, that's for sure, because look at the debate the other night, I mean, if that wasn't a circus, I don't know what is, and people are just going along with watching it, and it's kind of like a train wreck, I'd imagine. Your mouth just kind of drops open and you can't look away. But we need to come up with a better vision of what's going on, because whoever is the next president isn't going to fix the problems that have been going on for many years, and they're not gonna change all that much of what we need to be changed, and so the vision's going to need to be created by the people that are living it. And so if you're still living it, I say that you're responsible for creating it. So anyways, go ahead and take the mic, whoever.
Well, I just wanted to tell a quick COVID joke. It's kind of related. This one I heard kind of like a few months ago. It's related to people buying toilet paper. It says, what do you call people who buy up all the toilet paper? What do you call those people? Assholes.
Oh, dearie, dearie, dearie. Just when I thought the internet could not get any worse, we come up with a chicken joke, and now we come up with an arse joke. Have you noticed that I pronounce arse properly? Anybody notice that? I feel pity for those who do not know the difference between an ass, hee-ho, a donkey, and an arse. Come on, people, get with the English language. Over.
I'm taking my turn. I don't know, I kept dropping off. Is that doing it tonight on Pal Talk? Okay, everybody listen up. Just got a news bulletin. Listen up. CNN has reported the president's private advisor, Hope Hicks, who was with him yesterday on the plane and to all his rallies this week, in conference with him, close quarters, no masks, on Air Force, has now been tested positive for COVID. So the president has been personally exposed to COVID. Wonder if he'll sleep tonight. No masks on the plane. Hope Hicks, the sweet honey that he called back to the White House to be his personal advisor. Stay tuned. More news, I'm sure. Pass the mic.
Yeah, so and I'm sorry, I'm bad at names and I'm not in the room often enough. Who was the woman that said that both parties are the same? Who was that? Was that you, Wild? So this alternative that you want, what does that look like? Well, first, let me just juxtapose the two parties. One wants health care for all. Doesn't want a national health care program at all. One wants to run a government that takes care of people with COVID. The other one doesn't give a shit about it. One wants to give huge tax breaks to the rich. The other one is looking to close the gulf between rich and poor. One wants a higher minimum wage, the other one doesn't. So it is definitely two different parties. Do they point fingers at each other? Absolutely. Why wouldn't you point fingers at each other? So this other party that you want to do, what are they for? One recognizes that we're going through global climate change and wants to do something about it. The other still denies that there's any such thing as global climate change. So what is this new other party that you say that nobody's recognizing? What does that party look like? And I guess I'm not going to get an answer. That's all right. I didn't think I was. Well, the other group, the people, the one that's for the people, what does that look like? What is it that you think that this group that's for the people would look like, and what do you think that they should be raising that the Democrat Party is not? Open mic, sweetie. You sexy thing.
Thank you, Berry Baby. Okay, so I didn't ask anybody if they were in a cult. Fun Bud, hey, how are you? I hope you're well. It's so nice to see you. I never asked anybody if they were in a cult. I asserted, I effectively, strongly asserted that they are a cult. There is about 3 blocks down from my house, someone living in a shack with a falling apart pickup truck has a life-size mannequin of Trump with a scowl on his face, holding a Trump flags all over, and I would say an 8 by 16, or I'm not very good with numbers, a humongous, like, Trump pen sign. Cult. You have flags around, I have flags around my house. Trump as Rambo. They have Rambo and Trump's face on it. That is cult. They're cult. It doesn't matter. If he told them, go out in the kitchen and find a plastic knife, whip out your cock and start cutting it off with the plastic knife, they do it. Just like the Hellbop who castrated themselves and all committed suicide. You know where, you all like to talk about drinking the Kool-Aid. You don't know the etymology of that. It's because of Jim Jones and Guyana. He made Kool-Aid and he poisoned it, and they all took it. Saved always, who is this nutcase vile woman? Let's talk about her. She's the one who bathes in the blood of aborted fetuses to keep my skin smooth, supple, and youthful looking. Just ask Barry how smooth, supple, and youthful looking my skin is. Yes, sir, you heard it right. I bathe in the blood of aborted fetuses. That's who this vile woman is on the mic. I am your worst fucking nightmare, Saved, because I am a woman with a brain and a mouth, and I'm not afraid to use it. And I operate in reality, unlike you and your friends who are operating in some mythological place wherein you are privileged enough that you can choose not to vote for the right choice. There are 2 choices on the 3rd of November, Trump or Biden. And so is an admin calling time on me? This Eagle Avero, is Eagle Avero an admin? Would an admin please time me? Because I simply am speaking truth to a room. Yes, you need to be. But you know what? I've said what I need to say. I will pass it off to Zero Calorie.
Yeah, there are some bad people out there that you won't believe this, but they will actually use climate change to try to get money from people and to control legislation and to get power for themselves. I know that's hard to believe, but there's an author that wrote a book about it a long time ago. There's a man named, and his name is Karl Marx, and he wrote a book called Climate Change and Geopolitical Fear, which has been republished. I think it was retitled as Climate Change and Capitalism. And you should read that because he wrote all about climate change, but for him, it was about taking control of government and getting money. It had nothing to do with actual climate change. Yeah, that's Karl. His name's Karl Marx. Karlmarx. It's one of his lesser known books. Your mic, Eagle.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. That's the first time in my 30 years on the internet that I've been told that calling time is only an admin job. There you go, admins. You've got another load. Another, what I call it?
We don't need you telling us how to admin. You do it every time you get on the mic. It's your mic, Bobby.
Oh, I have Barry in front of me, but I won't be long. Sweet Pea, yes, we need you on the mic. So not to take away from Eagle, who thinks he is so smart, and we're dying to hear his voice. In reality, I'm trying to keep my dinner from coming back to my throat. And Zero Color is zero IQ. That's what we should call him, zero IQ. Go ahead, Sweet Pea.
Wait, it's me. It was mine. You saw me behind you or in front of you. But anyway, no problems, Bobby. Yeah, I think anybody can call time after 2 minutes, 30 seconds after that. But in this room, anybody can call time after 2 minutes. My understanding, anyway. But yeah, there is climate change. I don't care if Karl Marx wrote a book about climate change, the geopolitical climate in Russia, right? Doesn't mean that there isn't climate change. There certainly is. That's why our fires are hotter, why we're having so many droughts, why the hurricanes are stronger. All this is climate change, evidence of it. I don't believe that there's anybody. I'm not even going to argue with people that don't think that there's climate change. That's just too fucking stupid. That's like to say there's no gravity. Am I going to argue with somebody that there's gravity? Of course there is. Or that the world is flat? Of course it's not flat. I'm not going to argue that stupidity. It's disgraceful for me as well as you. So, I mean, that's like blaming Biden for the shit show that went on Tuesday night, right? We had somebody just mess up and go with a 2-year-old throwing his weight, and people saying that, oh, that was Biden's fault. Wild. So what's this? What if you don't like either of the two major parties? What do you like? I know you're up behind Sweet Pea and she can run a bit long, but if you, I just wanted to know what you meant by that. Open mic to you, Sweet Pea. And I was only teasing you about you going along. Open mic.
Well, Barry, baby, I want to get started. I don't want to lose this point. For those of you who are contemplating some Hawkins, some third party, Green Party, seriously, Jill Stein ran on the Green Party ticket in 2016. Green Party, that's supposed to be environmental. And what the fuck did she do? Her 1% took enough votes away because of the stupidity of the American people that we got Trump for president, who dismantled the fucking EPA. Way to go, Green Party. High five on that one. Good job. Good job. Because of you, I mean, you personally, if you voted for Jill Stein, you helped dismantle the fucking EPA. Way to go. Way to go. What can we do this time with that dumb fuck vote for Hawkins? Who will get what, less than 1% of the vote? What the fuck are you going to get out of that? What green shit are you going to get? Think, people. Think, McFly. You're dumbasses. We are suffering in a miasma of fucking ignorance. It's a culture of fucking ignorance, and it's both on the right and the left. On the right, you have cult of Trump. You have dumb fucks so goddamn gullible and dumb, so goddamn gullible and dumb that they think that display, that disgraceful display on Tuesday night was a sign of intelligence, power, and strength. Now you tell me how fucked in the head, and that's not a cult? Seriously? Seriously, fuckers? And then conversely, you have the left, the cult of Bernie bot, the cult of, well, all the parties are alike. I'm just too fucking stupid to go and read the platforms and analyze and figure out the difference between the two parties because they're just the same. And I'm just too dumb. Because you are too fucking dumb, and you need to learn how to recognize a credible source and stop reading your Facebook feed and being fed the same stupid fucking misinformation-filled bullshit that you look at every day. Make a good decision. There's only one way to vote on November 3rd. Biden. Straight blue. No, not just Biden, straight blue. Just say, you know what? I'll have mine straight blue because I care about America, because I need this country to be safe, because we all can't go to fucking Canada. Dumbasses. Everyone's going to be heading for the goddamn Canadian border if the fucker steals the election the way he's trying. Whoever just typed vote red, you need to eat a cock. It would do you good. Maybe you would get some brains. Go ahead, Rose.
So I don't agree with the party thing, I guess, because like I said, it's all, at the end of the day, it's all the same thing, because they're both crap on both sides. Yeah, that there's both good things that they both want to put through, but it's like there's still repression of the people. There's still no justice for all. There's still, you know, a lot of things that are going to be wrong with the country after this voting session. It needs to be completely and utterly revamped, is what I've been saying, and have, you know, for quite some time now, because the voting session is just fraudulent. And there's so much crap that goes on there that, you know, and then you've got the Electoral College that's making their own decisions based upon their choices, as opposed to the voting the way that their parties want them to vote. You know, so there's a lot of stuff that's going on. It's fraudulent, you know. And you just support that statement? Okay. There's been, let's see, dead people that have, their names have gone and voted. There's other things that have happened in the voting session that the numbers don't come out right. And the Electoral College is just bullshit. Okay? It's just bullshit. So that's who put Trump in. That's who put Bush Jr. in. You know, it's just bullshit, and it's been that way for a while. And all of these people that are up here, you know, Biden, he's going to be the next dog and pony show. You know, I don't know that that's his form of evil is any better than Trump's. It may sound better. It may not offend you as much or whatever, but, you know, I think it's all crap right now anyways, you know, because this circus is going on. There are serious things that need to be taken care of, and there's serious visions that need to be created. And I don't know who the you are, Sweet Pea, but I'm not deluded, okay? Yeah, it is maybe time for you to go, so why don't you go ahead and have a good night, okay? Hi, Pinky. How you doing, honey? I'm off the mic now.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment.
Go ahead.
Are a huge cause of it. I mean, certainly there's natural cycles to Earth's climate, but the amount of CO2 that humans are pumping into the atmosphere is an exorbitant amount in a short period of time. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that if you look at other planets, for instance, if you look at Venus, Venus is the hottest planet in our solar system on average. I'm talking about like around the planet. Certainly Mercury gets hot on one side of the planet but has no atmosphere, so it's extremely cold on the other side of the planet. But Venus overall is the hottest planet. The reason why it's so hot, not just because it's closer to the sun, but it's 80% carbon dioxide. So we know that carbon is an extremely efficient absorber of heat. Now, the good thing about Earth is carbon dioxide is a relatively low percentage of the composition in percentage-wise versus other greenhouse gases, but it's extremely efficient if you increase it even small amounts. And without getting too technical, there's no doubt that in fact they're relating climate change. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. There's been basically 5 mass extinctions on Earth. 5. We are in the 6th one right now. It's happening right now. We're in what's called the Holocene mass extinction. People, when they think of mass extinctions, they think it's a bunch of animals die within a short period of time. Well, no. Mass extinctions can happen over the course of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of years. Okay? And what's happening now is largely, it's not just climate change. Of course, humans deforesting places, expanding is also a huge factor, but climate change is one of the biggest factors that's happening, that's causing the 6th mass extinction right now. So, there's no doubt. I'm going to say there's one thing that in terms of climate change that might turn out to be a good thing. Now, people hold your breath, but there's some backing science for it. We could delay or even prevent the next major ice age that's due in the next 7,000-8,000 years. Next major ice age that's due, because of warming the planet, we may actually prevent the next major ice age. Next on the mic.
Yeah, we're not looking for a rocket science, we're looking for a climate scientist. You're right, a rocket scientist would know absolutely nothing, even less than you do, evidently. But yeah, climate scientists are what we're looking at, and that's certainly not what you are. I don't know that you would be anything. But I will go with the subject matter experts on this, because you know what? When they came out with the reports in 2000, they were absolutely right. In 2020, they were ahead of projections. So I will take their word for it. The woman that was talking, you still didn't give any examples. You just did hyperbole. Well, they're bad. They're really bad. Both of them are really bad. They're shit shows, whatever. You never gave examples of something that you thought that we needed to get done. It was just hyperbole. I don't even know how to respond to it, to tell you the truth. You would have given some examples. I was asking you for examples of what you thought that we should be doing, and no answer to them. Because you don't have an answer. Because all you can talk is in hyperbole. Anyway, it's just not the right night. I gotta come back when intelligent people are back. I'm not hitting the room at the right, evidently. Open mic to you, Bobby.
Yeah, sometimes it's like this. We get infected with morons. Uh, Too bad Sweet Pea left, but all my household is Bernie supporters. And the only reason we're voting for Biden is to get Trump out of office. That's about the only reason. Uh, I'm personally a Green Party, and I've been Green Party because the Democrats in 1992 decided that even though they had control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and it was introduced the universal health care, the Democrats, as a party who was in control, refused to pass the universal health care, the Clinton health care. It was her name's plan in her name, and she went to Congress and she refused. The Democrats refused. I'm not a Democrat. The Democrats, they stand for everything. They have conservative, they have moderate, and they have liberals. And, they tend to piss on liberals, but wants the liberals to vote for them. And that really bothers me. Anyway, pro-life nurse is in the room, and I'm getting the fuck out of here. See you guys. I'll be back when she's gone.
Well, that's nice. I'm glad he's gone. A moron left. Good. Yeah, I was going to address Sweet Pea, but coming to Canada, well, it's wonderful that the Americans think that's what they can do, but you actually have to apply to come to Canada. And there isn't much of a demand for that. Even when Trump got elected in 2016, whatever it was, just a couple of figures for Americans in the room here. In 2015, a little over 6,800 Americans tried to apply to Canada. In 2016, followed just over 7,700. But in 2017, it jumped to 9,000, and it's been sitting at 8,700 a year since. Now, those aren't successful. They're just applications. And if you do get your application accepted, and you get a letter in the mail saying that you have been accepted your application was accepted, you have 90 days to accept that application. And if you don't have it accepted in 90 days, you lose your right to come to Canada, and you have to apply all over again. So it's not a great number, even when Trump got elected, that, you didn't pour over the border. See, most people make their phone calls to an immigration lawyer, and they ask the questions they want to ask, and they think it over, and they decide not to. It's a big jump, and most people won't do it. So really, it's all bluster. Oh, we'll go to Canada. Well, it ain't going to happen. Most of you guys will go, well, I think I'll go to Canada. Then you'll make some inquiries. And then you'll go, oh, I don't think I want to do that. It's too much work. It's too much money. I don't want to change my lifestyle. I don't want to live up there in the cold. I'll be away from my relatives. All the excuses you can think of. Anyway, next on the mic.
I would agree with you, Glitz. Montcalm County is Detroit and the surrounding areas. And being that it's mostly African American, it probably will go to Trump. It is the number one issue at this time for all Christians, or should be. We have a chance to make history. And I don't think we're going to waste this opportunity. When Trump, when Barrett is confirmed, that will be the nail in the coffin. There will be a massive influx for Trump because that is a big, big, big issue. Big issue. And I think if that happens, he will win in a landslide. Without it, I'm not so sure. But that is a big, big, big issue. Next on the mind, go ahead, Cyril.
Oh, I guess that person's not taking the mic. I was just having a conversation in text. The problem with the problem with climate change, the reason why I don't think it's going to get sort of resolved is even if the United States kind of addresses the issue of climate change, we still have China, we still have India, we still have Southeast Asia that's still polluting. Here's something interesting. Here's an interesting fact. Did you guys know that over 25% of the pollution, I'm not talking about carbon, just the carbon footprint, I'm just talking about pollution in general. 25% of the pollution in the Western Hemisphere comes from Asia. Basically the winds are blowing, across the planet. 25% of the pollution, just the United States, is coming from Asia. That's crazy, huh? So, I mean, even if we sort of like take on the challenge of, trying to address climate change, that doesn't necessarily, it might take a while before China and India, because Asia in general is by far leaving the biggest carbon footprint in just pollution in general. So, I mean, just in terms of humanity as a whole, we got a long ways to go to try to tackle at least the carbon footprint. But at least in the meantime, I think we could tackle just pollution in general, like as far as clean water and clean air. Here's something very interesting. Here in Los Angeles, there was an interesting article, and I'll post it. There's a Swiss agency called IQ Air. They're one of the lead agencies in the world that measure pollution levels in all the major cities in the world. And something miraculous happened in Los Angeles during the